6 martial artists. UFC fighter, BJJ black belt, Shaolin disciple, karate black belt, Muay Thai expert, and a regular person, all locked up in a room with a knife attacker for 20 seconds. After completing the first 3 challenges, our contenders were ready to face what was going to arguably be the Self-Defense Championship's hardest challenge yet, the Shank Tank, where each participant was going to enter a closed environment together with a knife attacker and then defend against them for 20 seconds 5 times in a row. The attacker's rubber knives will be covered in red paint, while the contenders will be wearing X-Martial's custom-made anatomy shirts in order to track knife wounds. The first contender to go was the champion of the first season, MMA fighter Jeff Chan, who now had a chance at redemption, since in season 1, almost none of the participants, including Jeff Chan, survived even a single round against the knife attackers in the same challenge.
I offered to go first, not realizing that I probably have the hardest because the guys have the most energy.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
This is a knife.
I definitely decided to not try the same strategy as last time, which was go for the double leg. This time, my strategy was to try to keep it striking.
All right, is everyone good? You all ready?
While many videos claim to teach effective knife defense, in reality, few of them, if any, actually test their techniques against an attacker who is fully committed to doing damage. The truth is that it's way more difficult to defend against a knife attacker than most people think, and instead of looking like the movies, reality is usually much closer to what you see here, even with a trained fighter. And although Jeff Chan displayed great use of the Atomic Bear self-defense pen, leaving him with no more uses of it for the rest of the championship, he did not do enough damage with it and suffered too many injuries, officially not surviving the first round. But there were 4 more rounds for him to still redeem himself and to improve upon his mistakes, including later rounds with a twist.
I wanted to keep throwing the high kick in, and I did land it, but it was pulled.
Unfortunately, Jeff Chan didn't survive again, yet in the 3rd round, in order to level out the playing field at least a little bit, all of the contenders will be given a duffel bag to use as an improvised shield.
Landed a teep, but then the teep only buys you like 2 seconds.
Good job.
Finally, Jeff Chan survived his first Shank Tank round in 2 seasons. But before it was Shaolin Disciples Ranton's turn, Jeff had 2 more rounds to improve his record even further, with the next one involving an obstacle in the middle of the room. Although Jeff Chan got stabbed only a number of times, and even though he managed to take away the knife from the attacker and then stabbed him with his own knife, unfortunately, after consulting with a paramedic, it turns out the last 2 stabs would have reached Jeff's heart, leading this round to being a fatal one and leaving Jeff with the final round against a concealed knife attacker. Unfortunately, the final round was also fatal for Jeff Chan.
My strategy was to try to keep it striking, but each time I ended up in a grappling match again. I wasn't hitting 100%, I was hitting 70%. So I kind of regret not throwing more hands, and I regret not throwing harder. I think the outcome would have been a bit different.
Yet how many points Jeff scores in the championship depends not only on his performance, but also on how the other 5 contenders will do, as their performances will be compared to each other. Meanwhile though, Shaolin disciple Ranton, who was going to go next, wasn't sure about his chances after his lackluster performance in the previous bar scenario challenge.
Yesterday's challenge got me super worried. I cannot embarrass myself like that again. But I don't know how to fight. I've never fought in my whole life. I'm scared to throw punches. So I spent all night, last night, sitting in my bed telling myself, I have to punch people today. I have to punch people. I have to let it all out. I have to punch people. But I was just scared that they're gonna run towards me and I'm just gonna freeze up and not dare to hit them.
But there was only one way to find out if Ranton will.
Good to go? Ready?
Anton was saying, I only do forms, I don't know how to fight. But then I saw him at the Shank Tank and I was so proud of him.
He came out like a Shaolin drunken boxer and just
Thank God the moment it started, something clicked in my head. I was able to flick the switch and be like, now or never. My wife cried because she was so proud of me. Nathan and Jeff had me on the back and be like, yo, I'm impressed with you. Now I feel like my odds have significantly improved.
Ranton's round was stopped since the judges, taking the helmets into account, assessed that his strikes were knockout shots and would have stopped the knife attacker in their tracks, leading Ranton's first round into a win.
My boxing coach is gonna be so proud of me.
But Ranton was just getting started.
One of the things that motivated me the most, because I love Jeff Chan, I am a huge fan of his content. After every round when I heard the whistle, the first thing I did, I looked to Jeff Chan's face and he looked at me like a tiny bit impressed and I was like, wow, I don't suck.
Ranton got another win due to a knockout shot, leading him to a second win and the final round to go. By focusing on knockout shots, taking a risk and going all out, Ranton managed to survive not only a single, but 2 rounds, as a result in this challenge surpassing even his idol Jeff Chan.
The last one got me.
Was it fun?
Yeah, it was so much fun.
I honestly feel like this is the best knife defense. When you see the knife, just make peace with the fact you're gonna go to the hospital and then just to swing for his flippin' head. Because you just need to land one good shot. It's game over.
Meanwhile though, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt Jordan Preisinger, who was going to go next,
I'll feel my fight after.
had a surprising and very different strategy from the first 2 contenders.
I was thinking, how can I keep my vital organs away from the knife? And the day before I realized,
Ready?
he pulled guard. He literally sat on his back and pulled guard.
When the whistle blew and he lied down his back, all of us were like, no way. This is content.
everyone's surprise, Jordan managed to pull guard in a knife fight and survived the first round, since the cuts weren't lethal.
I know it's gonna get a lot of people kind of riled up. Who pulls guard in a knife fight? I can wrestle, I can strike, but I thought keeping my torso so far away would be a very smart strategy.
Yet Jordan had an idea how to improve his strategy even more.
One problem I had was not going hard enough. I still was trying to control too much, where I could have thrown more up kicks.
Ready to go?
Despite doing a great job at using the guard again, unfortunately, at the very beginning of the round, Jordan's femoral artery got cut, which would lead to a person bleeding out very quickly unless given immediate medical attention, resulting in Jordan losing the second round. He also refused to wear the helmet, but Jordan was not ready to give up yet.
Let me see if I can do a different strategy and see if it'd be successful.
Good to go?
Despite finishing the round strong with an armbar and getting cut only once, given the weight and speed of the attacker, the single stab to the forehead was lethal, reminding us that it's not about how many times you get cut, but where, leaving Jordan with one more loss, a reminder of the importance of wearing a helmet, and the final round to go. Using an unorthodox strategy, Jordan was able to survive 2 rounds against all odds.
I just pull guard, which I think is really cool because it actually worked.
A lot of people make fun of BJJ. Like, huh, what are you gonna do? Sit down on your back when someone attacks you? Butt scoot? And he did that, and he did incredibly well.
He just executed perfectly. I was happy for him, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, shit, my chances are winning are going down by the minute. God damn you, why are you so good?
Nathan was not only a single point apart from Jordan in the score table, he was also still on a quest for redemption to prove his skills after a failed first challenge. And when asked by Jeff Chan what his plan was, this was his answer.
My strategy was to hurt the guys before they can hurt me, not only to knock them out. I didn't want to knock anybody out. Hitting somebody hard, it's not only about hurting them, it's about gaining respect as well. If you go too light, they just walk you down. If you throw a good shot, you make somebody more timid, and that's what I wanted to do with the attackers. I wanted to put fear in their hearts.
Although Nathan's injuries were close to being deadly, he used his Atomic Bear self-defense pen effectively to incapacitate his attacker by striking vital areas, and after a powerful spinning back kick, the round was stopped and Nathan survived the first round. But he had 4 more Shank Tank rounds to prove that he's better at knife defense than his rival, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt Jordan. Although just narely, Nathan survived 2 rounds in a row, putting him in a position where he needs to win 1 more in order to surpass Jordan's performance. Yet Nathan's next attacker was meaning business. Although it was a spectacular round that ended with an assessed knockout shot, before the round was stopped, Nathan suffered too many injuries, failing this round. But he had 2 more rounds to redeem himself.
The timing was right, the opportunity was right.
Nathan's kick was so powerful that it left his attacker unable to move for minutes on end.
Spin back kick is the most powerful kick you can throw. Even with the shoe, I think a shoe hurts more, but actually it has cushion.
Undoubtedly winning this round. As a result, Nathan became the leader of this challenge so far, leaving only karate black belt Jesse Encom and regular person Craig Hunter to challenge him during their still upcoming attempts. Yet Nathan had his final attempt at improving his record even further. Nathan's final round was fatal, but after winning 3 rounds in total, he was now leading this challenge, leaving other contenders concerned.
You couldn't contain the energy in the Shank Tank room. Everybody around it was talking about it and the kick and the kick. And Jordan's like, you really knocked them out? And I'm like, perhaps. Just want to make him think that when we're gonna meet, he's gonna lose. I really do believe that, but also it can't hurt that he'll believe that.
Did you see this? No, I didn't see this. I was oh my god, when I saw it, I was like, yo. Yo.
Nathan is a f***ing savage. That spinning back kick came out of nowhere.
When you said that basically killed everyone in the bar, I was thinking like, beat everyone out. But after I watched you, I totally changed my perspective of what you meant by you have a nice smile with your psycho.
I'm telling you, I'm not going against Nathan.
You did well though. I was surprised dude. Yeah, man.
You're so much fun that I said. God, it's awesome.
Yet Nathan's reign could still be ended by karate black belt Jesse Encom, who had his own strategy that may still very well pose a danger to Nathan's current position.
I saw the last season. I know what's about to go down. We're about to get stabbed 2,000 times. You want to equalize the playing field. If they have a knife, I want to have something as well. And we have the pen, so why not use it?
That's good shots, you gotta drum off those.
Before Jesse was fatally stabbed, he hit the attacker's genitals multiple times with the Atomic Bear Self-Defense Pen's metal teethed edge, which would have likely stopped the fight. And since the round was not stopped early enough to reflect that, Jesse's first round was counted as a win.
Try to stab them in the eye, but one of the guys had a helmet where you could actually touch his eye. So I just stabbed his groin over and over with the pen, and that was a great plan.
But it's not a coincidence that Jesse was able to use an improvised weapon.
I started training when I was 2 years old, but ever since then, school has grown, and now we have many different martial arts, like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Thai boxing, MMA, and of course, the ancient weapons from Okinawa, the birthplace of karate.
And Jesse had another weapons strategy he was about to try in the second round.
Imagine fencing. Fencer can reach really far, so I hold it in the same kind of grip. This other dude actually has some kind of protection over his face, so that means I can go for the eyes.
The judges assessed that Jesse's strike directly to the eyes was a fight stopper, resulting with his second win in a row, and Jesse needing to win at least 1 more round to directly compete with Nathan for the best performance of this challenge. Yet the next round had a surprise coming for Jesse.
But then we have a problem, because then we get this bag. Now, here's my plan. I'm gonna rush the guy, push my bag into his face to blur his vision, and then I'm gonna throw knee strikes to his liver, at least in my head, because what he does...
Ready?
What he does is some matrix shit. He runs on the wall. Who does that with a knife?
Unfortunately, Jesse didn't survive this round, but his spirits were still staying positive,
At least I had a plan, although it didn't work. But hey, everyone's got a plan until you get stabbed in the face.
and he still had 2 more rounds to try to reach Nathan's record. Unfortunately, Jesse didn't manage to reach Nathan's record, yet he did guarantee himself a higher score at the middle tier, once everyone's performances will be compared.
In general, I think it's a really good idea to know how to use any everyday object as a weapon. And if you can carry one with you, like a pen, that's even better.
And right now, the first 200 people to order Atomic Bear's Stealth Pen Pro will receive a 50% discount. Get your Stealth Pen Pro now by going to the atomicbear.com/USDC or by scanning the QR code at the right corner. And now, regular person Craig Hunter was the last threat to Nathan's reign in the Shank Tank. Yet Craig was not only against all odds leading the championship after agreeing to be part of it as a last-minute substitute with only a week's notice. It also turns out he also had his very first ever boxing fight coming up the following day the Ultimate Self-Defense Championship ends, right after he will have gone through 5 intense days of self-defense challenges.
I've changed jobs now, I'm driving a truck, so I sit down a lot. I just sort of sign up for this boxing thing where it's like a 10-week training program and then you fight at the end of it. So I've signed up for that to try and force myself into a gym, and then I just didn't really train. I just didn't go to the gym like life, yeah.
And when asked what Craig's strategy for the Shank Tank was, this was his answer.
Try not to get stabbed, that's it. You always get stabbed, but you just try and get stabbed as little as possible, really, yeah.
Although Craig managed to take the knife away and stab the attacker, unfortunately by then he had already been fatally stabbed. Craig used the Atomic Bear self-defense pen to strike the genitals of his attacker, stopping the round. Unfortunately, it was too late. Yet Craig was not ready to give up yet. Craig's knee to the head in the following ground and pound was assessed as a fight stopper, scoring him his first point in the Shank Tank. Despite Craig not reaching Nathan's score, his performance was still phenomenal, even though Craig wasn't willing to admit it.
How do you think it went?
As you see, I got cut a lot.
And now, since all of the contenders have taken their turn, it's finally time to reveal the contenders' scores based on everyone's performance when compared to each other. Yet everything can still change, as there are 3 more challenges coming, and the contenders have no idea what the next challenge is.
Jordan, him being himself and like really cool and like, yeah, I think I'm gonna pull guard. I need him to lose. I'm like, that sounds like a good idea. Yeah, maybe you should do that.